Hello everyone, my name is Renalyn Aragon, first year BS at Social Studies, and now we're talking about poverty. So, when we say poverty, what comes to your mind first? Poverty is a state or condition in which a person or community lacks the financial resources and essentials for a minimum standard of living. It is often characterized by a lack of access to basic needs such as food, shelter, clothing, education, and health care. Poverty can be both absolute, where individuals struggle to meet basic needs for survival, and relative, where individuals are unable to maintain the standard of living considered normal in their society. Poverty is a complex and multidimensional issue that can be influenced by factors such as unemployment, low wages, lack of education, inadequate social support system, and systematic inequalities. It is a global challenge that affects individuals and communities across the world, leading to social, economic, and health disparities. Efforts to address poverty often involve policies and programs aimed at improving access to education, healthcare, employment opportunities, and social services to uplift those living in poverty and reduce inequality. We all know that not all of us experience poverty because some of us grew up with a really luxurious life and lucky. We don't have to scrape just to survive. There are parents who can give everything no matter what happens, no matter how big money, etc. is given. Me, I'm proud that I'm poor. I've experienced poverty when I was a child, age 7, 8. I had to eat salt dishes because of poverty. Then life was really very difficult, and yes, until now. But it was really different at that time. My father is a farmer and my mother is a housewife. My brother and I were the only two at that time. Life was really hard, and the water was far from us. At that time, we were just renting. We didn't have our own place or house. I remember how hard my parents worked so they can provide our needs, and poverty was not an obstacle for us. I also remember that we had a relative who told my parents that we are only two siblings, but they are struggling to support us. And they say they can't afford to study because of poverty. What's up now? We have four siblings, and I can say that our life is not that difficult compared before. Because of the hard work of my parents, I finished high school and I am now studying college here in LSPU Las Bañas. And my three siblings are in high school. Often lack of financial, yes, but that's normal. The story of poverty is not shameful. I'm not ashamed that I grew up poor. There's nothing wrong about being poor, right? You know what's more embracing? To pretend to be rich just to be accepted by other people. Early pregnancy can be a contributing factor to poverty, especially in certain circumstances. So, here's how early pregnancy can intersect with poverty. The first one is limited educational opportunities. Early pregnancy, especially during adolescence, can disrupt educational pathways. Young mothers may face challenges in continuing their education which can limit their opportunities for higher paying jobs in the future. This educational disruption can perpetuate the cycle of poverty. Second, reduce employment opportunities. Young mothers, especially teenagers, may face difficulties in securing stable employment due to their caregiving responsibilities and lack of work experience. This can lead to financial instability and contribute to economic hardship. Third is financial strain. Raising a child requires financial resources for healthcare, nutrition, education, and other basic needs. For young mothers who may not have the financial means to support themselves and their child adequately, early pregnancy can lead to increased financial strain and a higher risk of living in poverty. Social stigma and discrimination. Young mothers, particularly teenagers, may face social stigma and discrimination, which can impact their mental health, social relationships, and access to support networks. This social isolation can exacerbate the challenges faced by young mothers and contribute to their vulnerability to poverty. Fifth, healthcare costs. Pregnancy and childbirth come with associated healthcare costs, including prenatal care, delivery expenses, and postnatal care. For young mothers who may not have access to affordable healthcare services or insurance coverage, this cost can further strain their financial resources and increase the risk of poverty. 6. Limited support systems. Young mothers may lack adequate support system, including family support, access to childcare services, and community resources. The lack of support can make it challenging for young mothers to balance caregiving responsibilities with other aspects of their lives, potentially leading to financial instability. Okay, let's proceed to the types of poverty. There are six types of poverty. The first one is absolute poverty. An example of absolute poverty is a family in a developing country living on less than $1.9 a day, struggling to afford basic necessities like food, clean water, and adequate shelter. This type of poverty can lead to malnutrition, poor health, and limited access to education and healthcare. Relative poverty. In a developed country, relative poverty can be seen in individuals or families living below a certain percentage of the median income in their area. For instance, a single parent working multiple jobs but still unable to afford housing, health care, and educational opportunities comparable to others in their community. Third is situational poverty. Situational poverty can occur when a person loses their job unexpectedly. An example would be a family experiencing financial hardship after a natural disaster destroyed their home, leaving them struggling to meet their financial needs until they can recover and rebuild. Fourth, generational poverty. Generational poverty is exemplified by a family where poverty has persisted for multiple generations. For instance, children growing up in a household where their parents and grandparents also face economic challenges, limiting their access to quality education, stable employment, and resources to break the cycle of poverty. Fifth, urban poverty. Urban poverty can be observed in inner city neighborhoods where residents face inadequate housing, limited job opportunities, and high living costs. An example is families living in overcrowded substandard housing in urban areas with limited access to quality education, healthcare, and social services. The last one is rural poverty. In rural poverty may be seen in farming communities where families struggle with low agricultural productivity, lack of access to healthcare facilities, and limited educational resources. An example is farmers in a remote village facing challenges in accessing markets for their produce and lacking basic infrastructure like clean water and sanitation. And that's all. Thank you.